Before we start, this good old descent to hell, I have a couple words for the only player that actually deserves praise. Well, actually, I'll give it to Prince. You are a generational talent that has somehow graced this god awful program at one of its, you know, middleest of low points. And I just want to know that you are one of the best out there. And you deserve better. I don't really care what kind of attachment you have to this place. You deserve better. You deserve a program that actually cares to have talent around its, star players. And to Hargrove, I didn't know you had it in you to actually perform well over this season. I didn't know. I was not familiar with their game. So sorry. But to the rest of you hacks, what the fuck was this? Against Indiana, against a team that you beat by 5 in the regular season, how do you go up 17 in the first half, go up 20 at one point in that first half? How do you go up by that much, start out so well, to then shit yourself so bad? How? How the fuck do you do that? This team that we played did not play a lot of players. They had 6 total. And for the most part, it was just 5. And somehow, some way, we still fucking lost. This was a game that you had to win to continue your season in the NCAA tournament. This was the game that you had to win to prove that you could actually do something. And what do you know? You did nothing to disprove the doubters. You went out there to show the NCAA people that you belonged in the NCAA tournament. And instead of doing that, you fell off a massive fucking cliff in that second half. It's not even like, it didn't even look like you went out of that locker room to come play. It looked like you just kind of didn't show up. You scored 24 points in that second half. Indiana had 25 in the fourth. What the fuck? What the absolute fuck? Why does it seem like our players are lost when you're down a score and the opponent gets a ball with no time for a next possession? So what do? You foul. And yet it took 5 fucking seconds for someone to foul. 5. Actually, no, it's 6. But 6 fucking seconds to foul someone. What the fuck? Is it really that hard? I don't understand. I really do not understand what the fuck is going on. You just stood around and did nothing. Like, it doesn't even matter your shooting that was terrible. That defense looked so fucking lost out there. When the team that you're playing against is constantly driving towards the fucking middle, trying to get from the outside to the inside, constantly going whoop, 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 whoop. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? You're trying to make him do this. You're trying to lead him this way, but then they just consistently go, nah, I'm gonna ignore you. You gotta guard this that will then get them to go over there. I'm not a tactical genius, but I feel like I figured this offense out by the end of the third. All right, whatever they did in the second half, adjustments, it worked. But you had the time to fix the mistakes that you were making, and yet you just never did. And that is a coaching issue. A massive fucking coaching issue. I don't understand how the fuck this has happened. Yeah, you lose Potts, okay? And you didn't have Maupin for this game. But you know what? You didn't have some of your better players over the course of, a couple of those wins. You can win without them. Alright? This team is basically just 3.5 players trying to carry the rest of the team. That it's just, you're just sitting there going, you really couldn't find more for a program that is, this centric on women's sports. Okay, when you think of Nebraska, you really think of women's volleyball. That's a fucking great sport. Yeah, they crashed out in the regional final, but, that shit happens, alright? That was terrible. There was a lot of things that went into that. But you know what? That's still the premier sport. What do you know? For the past, couple of years, the men's basketball team has been utter shite. It was only 5 to 6 years ago that we were losing to North Dakota. Losing to North Dakota. Who the fuck does that? What self-respecting team does that? That's right. Nobody. Winning fucking 7 games a season? That's a worse win total than Rutgers women's this year? Can you believe that? A team that had a worse win total than Rutgers. Doing about the same exact thing as Boston College women's basketball as of now. Alright? It took a generational run for us to get to 10 wins. 10 wins. What the fuck? Took a generational run, something that the likes of, Nebraska basketball has never seen before, to get to 10 wins. Are you fucking kidding me? That is terrible. That, no matter the result, that's terrible that you had to have a generational run to get to. So the only thing that people really cared about in the PBA was the women's basketball team. Alright? Because they actually were doing things. I mean, they were making the NCAA tournament pretty consistently, making it, somewhat pretty far. They had an undefeated season, undefeated regular season in recent memory. Alright, this was the team to, be like, oh yeah, we have basketball in this state. Alright, we have basketball. That's cool. And yet, in the year in which both Creighton teams have shit themselves, you are by far the most disappointing of the bunch. Because Creighton women's didn't necessarily have the best expectations. And the Creighton men's are in a banter era. But you had the expectations of making it back to the NCAA tournament. And now you're not even going to fucking do that. My general rule of thumb is that 1 year of, falling backwards, that happens. Alright? It's why I'm not asking, for everyone in the women's volleyball team to get fired. Or the football team, which a lot of people apparently are, very negative at Matt Rule. When you won one extra regular season game, guys, it's the same improvement as the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll get to 12 wins eventually. Just chill the fuck out. But you get... you have all that. You obviously don't have Potts for the season. But you knew coming into the season that you weren't going to have her. And yet it seems like you were just waiting for her. And then she never showed up. And then this happens. So now you lose in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. Your hopes of the NCAA just giving you a pity seed, gone. Fuck out of here. Not in my house. All right. Now, oh boy, you got the NIT. Who the fuck cares? You remember the last time that we went to the NIT? You remember the last time we got our ass kicked by a team that we beat in the regular season? Kansas. mind you, the Kansas women's team is not necessarily known for much. Like, come on. Like, okay. And then you just wonder, like, what went wrong here? Like, seriously, what the fuck went wrong? Why are we doing this? How the fuck do you keep messing this shit up? And it's not like this is just a one-game thing. We blew multiple leads against some of these, teams. Oregon, Wisconsin, Michigan State. I'm pretty sure we blew a lead against USC. Like, there were games in which we had the chance to get that big win, so we didn't even have to play in the first round. If we beat Oregon and still went on, to win the next two games, we wouldn't even have had to play these two games. We would have vaulted Oregon, which, they're fucking playing. They're playing, after us. Like, they're still, like, we'd be able to get, some better teams. You're just sitting here going, like, what? What was all this? The two wins at the end of the season, what was that all for? Nothing. Literally nothing. The expectations for this team to make the NCAA tournament were so gargantuanly low, and you somehow failed those. What? How do you fail that? Getting into the NCAA tournament in the Big Ten or the SEC is so fucking easy, according to my math. And yet you have shit yourself. Now Indiana stands a chance. If they're able to beat Ohio State, here's the spot. Like, the fact you were carried by the fact that your NET ranking is 25. I don't understand how that's so high. And the fact that you didn't lose a non-conference game. Like, okay, what you didn't really schedule much, though. I feel like the best team that we scheduled was North Dakota State. Which, I mean, yeah, they're pretty tough. But it's North Dakota State. Like, we really wasted another year of Prince for this. Like, we shouldn't even be waiting until the decision of the NCAA bracket or the NIT bracket. Amy Williams has to go now. Not a week from now. Not after the tournament reveal. Now. This is an inexcusable result. Inexcusable. You cannot have this result ever. And yet it's happened to a team that is now backsliding for multiple years. So what happens when a team is starting to backslide? You don't wait for it to completely collapse. You cut it immediately. So if they do not do the right thing and fire Amy Williams immediately, it's going to keep going. This hill is going to keep fucking going down. Eventually, we will be as irrelevant as the Rutgers women's basketball team. Oh, and what do you know? We have lost to that Rutgers women's basketball team multiple times, actually. Yeah, I have a thing in my room that reminds me of that terrible loss by 1 point to them at home. I remember that. That was fucking one of the worst games I've ever seen. That was until I watched this fucking game. Alright? This was worse than that. Because you give the expectation of, oh, we're going to win this easily. And then you completely flip it and lose. Unacceptable. Especially, it's not necessarily like this whole program is sunshine and rainbows. It's a whole thing that is still fucking going on. I don't even know what the hell is happening there, but it's some pretty serious allegations. And now you've had this. The results are not something you can ignore. Alright? We don't need to attain to loyalty. Because what do you know? She's been here for quite a long time. Coaches will still come to the PBA to coach this team. Well, some of them could be better. But we don't know if they are better than what Amy Williams is doing until we actually make the changes. And if the next guy sucks, okay, start over. That's literally the cycle of coaching. You just have to keep getting through the coaches until you find someone, and then you try and retain them as long as they are effective. And if they start not being effective, out. Rule is still effective. Osmond Kelly is still very effective. Ravel, very effective. Amy Williams right now, not effective. You see my logic here? You see my logic. Alright? And, it could have turned into what the fuck the rifle you seen what the fuck the rifle program is doing? No coach. And, within a couple years, instantly, conference title. Into the NCAA tournament as a favorite. Didn't see that coming. Didn't see that coming earlier. No, not many people pay attention to the rifle program, but we've suddenly make a run now. Could do it for once. Dethrone the Kings of Kentucky and West Virginia. They're doing things. New coaches can do new things. So let's make the change so that we do not slip further and further behind in this hellscape of Big Ten. Just please do the right thing. I cannot take another year of this dog shit. I'm not, if she's still around, I might not even watch the games. Because of just how, it's just not good. It's not good to keep a coach that is actively having a mental breakdown in terms of basketball. That's just what it is. And this is the result. I'll make a video whenever the actual, tournament reveal is, but honestly, if they're going to the NIT, I'm not even going to bother, but it is what it is. It's how this team is, and no NIT run, nothing should save Amy Williams for this final act of disappointment. This final act of disappointment should be the end. And if it's not, it's going to be hell to pay. Anyway, see you guys for whatever else. Goodbye.